Coming to you live, sort of, from parts unknown, it is Tomas and Zack, the ZNT wrestling show for AEW's biggest event of the year. And boy, over this past year or so, we've had a lot to say about AEW and their method of storytelling, with the goddamn motherfucking piece of shit Death Riders at the center of it all. But you know what? I think with their version of WrestleMania, they drew almost 30,000 people into Globe Life Stadium in the Dallas metropolitan area. And they put on a really, really good show, I thought. As long as it was. And I don't know how you felt about that, but this has to have been some sort of record for how long a pay-per-view was.
In the midst of this insane weekend of pro wrestling that we got between AEW All In, NXT Great American Bash, WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, and WWE Evolution, I think we got a lot of good wrestling this weekend. But at the same time, WWE, do not do this again, because this ended up being such a clusterfuck. All In was so long, it surpassed Great American Bash and bled into Saturday Night's Main Event, and the show ended by the time Saturday Night's Main Event was halfway through. My plans for watching all of these shows completely went down the shitter. I ended up watching Evolution on Monday, which to my dismay, I had some spoilers. I got all shows under my belt. It was a great weekend of wrestling, but WWE, you could have benefited a lot more if you would have pushed Evolution and Saturday Night's Main Event to the following weekend. And you know what? Great American Bash, I watched the show. That did not need to be a pay-per-view. It could have been a special episode of NXT. Because let me tell you, nothing happened on that show aside from Ricky Saints and Ethan Page having a banger last man standing match for the North American title. But everything else, sheer definition of filler. Yeah. And they did that show justice by AEW. I feel bad for all the NXT talent that got put in that position. I feel bad for, and when we get into our Saturday Night's Main Event review, I feel bad for people like Seth Rollins, who got injured on that show. I even feel bad for Goldberg, who had his retirement speech cut from the show. It's, you know, when we were going into this weekend, my thought was the biggest victims of this weekend are going to be the wrestlers, because they're going to suffer from all of these shows overlapping each other. There's even rumors that AEW went 6 hours just to spite WWE.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
So it was a lot of spiteful behavior from both companies. And I know they always say, like, oh, the real winners are the fans. I don't even think the fans came out as winners this, because we had to pick and choose. I'm sure there's some fans that aren't as dedicated as we are and decided, you know what, I'm not going to watch Saturday Night's Main Event. You know what, I'm not going to watch Evolution. And if you didn't watch Evolution, that's your loss, because that was a damn good show, which we will get into in a different review. But
a phenomenal show.
I heard that this, and it's true, this has officially become the longest wrestling pay-per-view in history, surpassing WrestleMania 35 by 30 minutes, because that was a 5.5-hour show. You want to account the pre-show into this? 8 hours of wrestling.
That is a
full shift of work.
That's a full night's
sleep.
Yeah, the whole night's sleep. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, 8 hours. That's way too long,
man. I planted my ass into the couch for all 8 hours of that shit. And it was so tiring. By, I want to say, past the halfway point of the show, I had to take a little nap during one of the matches just to keep myself going.
I can guess what that match was. I can guess what that match was.
I will tell everybody what that match was when we got to it. And I don't like doing that to any match, but you know, people wonder, like, oh, how can you be so tired just watching wrestling? When you have to just consume all of that media and you have to keep things in the back of your mind when we do reviews like this, it takes a lot out of you. Yeah. I don't take notes during this show. I don't either. Sheerly based off of memory and, you know, just like plot points, because there's no point for us doing hold for hold. There's no point in us going over every little minute detail. I like to go over what stuck out to me the most and what was most important on these shows. And when you have 8 hours, 3 pre-show matches, and 9 main card matches, it's a lot.
Well,
It's a fucking lot.
well, TJ, you remember when we started doing this 5 years ago? I tried doing that. I tried going hold for hold on a lot of those shows, and I realized like the more we did this, I just couldn't do it. It was so tiring. But and people,
matches like the Bucks versus.
yeah, you couldn't. You couldn't do the Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve hold for hold. You can't. There's no way. It's impossible. You can't.
And there are some matches. There are some matches where you just want to put the pen and paper down and just go, I need, it's like no phones at a concert. Just experience this.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good on this show. There was a lot of bold decision making that I would 100% agree with. And honestly, there was nothing bad on this show. The worst I'll say about it is there was some filler. There was some filler that I didn't care for. But there was not a single match on this card that made me go, damn, that shit fucking sucked.
Yeah, there wasn't anything on the card that didn't feel like it didn't belong or it didn't feel out of place. It definitely felt like AEW's biggest event of the year. And honestly, if they want to start jam-packing stadiums every single year, just like this, it feels like this is going to sound crazy coming from me, but I sort of wish I was there to experience it in Texas. Because it looked like it was a lot of fun. As long of a day as it would have been, it looks like it would have been a lot of fun. And Tony Khan does not charge you extortion prices to attend his biggest show of the year. So just throwing that out there. You know what?
You talk about being burnt out, like from a long day at that. You know, I'll be perfectly honest with you. When we entered SoFi Stadium for WrestleMania Night 2, I was a little tired.
Yeah.
I was a little exhausted from the night before, but that second night really like gave me a second wind.
Yeah.
When the show starts, when the good stuff starts happening, even though night 2 of our WrestleMania wasn't even that strong, it's still like I got a second win once the show started. And it's definitely an experience that, I recommend. Anybody who wants to go to these very long wrestling shows. I remember during our WrestleMania trip, we did fucking WrestleCon, went back to the hotel for a minute, and then went back for Supercard of Honor. When Supercard of Honor kicked off, I was not feeling it. But when Vikingo and I think it was
Commander.
When Vikingo and Commander started going, I got a second win.
Yeah.
So if you are up for something like that, it's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you need to experience it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did the weekend that we did.
Yeah, experience it at least once in your life. But anyway, this took place at the home of Major League Baseball's Texas Rangers. Almost like they claim it was around like 27,000 fans that packed this building. AEW's biggest American crowd, which is awesome for them. Is it even worth going into the 0 hour, like, and talking about like?
I want to touch on it.
Mention the matches.
I want to touch on it. Yeah, I want to mention the matches, and there's a couple of people on this show that actually competed on the main card as well, just to give like a little preset. So we open up the 0 hour with the Sons of Texas, which is Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions Dustin, Rhodes, and Sammy Guevara, and Goldust is 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Champions with the Von Erich boys.
Yeah,
with Marshall and Ross Von Erich.
Yeah, the Sons of Kevin.
Who are accompanied to the ring by Kevin. And every time I see Ross and Marshall, I just think back to Iron Claw and just be like, these boys have been through hell, but they are making their father proud. They chose to be in the wrestling business after all of the heartbreak and turmoil that happened to their dad and their uncles. They looked at their dad and Kevin never forced the business on them because that's what his father did. They looked at their father and said, no, we want to be pro wrestlers. And it brings a smile to my face every time I see Ross and Marshall on one of these shows.
Yeah, it brings a smile to my face when I see Kevin, too, especially when I think about what that man's been through in his life. And he actually did get to put the Iron Claw on somebody. They took on Shane Taylor Promotions, the team of Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Captain Sean Dean. Anthony Ogogo was on the outside. You remember him. Kevin Von Erich put the Iron Claw on this man on the outside. And I'm like, how the mighty have fallen. How
do we go from facing Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing to, hey, I know I just praised Kevin Von Erich, but I kind of cringe for some of these younger wrestlers to have to sell for the old guys. It's a little like, I know you're paying respect to the legends, but it's like, God damn, Anthony Ogogo, he could have been somebody.
Yeah.
He could have been somebody.
He really could have. He really could have after losing to the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. But yeah, I mean, Sons of Texas get the win. There's another 8-man tag team match on this show, and you'll like this one. Big Boom AJ, the Costco guy. He's teaming up with Kyle O'Reilly, Hologram, and Tomohiro Ishii. Holy shit, that's a random ass team.
Hold on.
What?
I have something to say real quick. First of all, Kyle O'Reilly is in 2 factions because I forgot the conglomeration even existed. Second of all, when did Hologram join the conglomeration?
I don't know, man. I don't watch Collision, so I couldn't tell you.
Because I'm sitting here going, it's kind of random that Kyle O'Reilly is in this match, and then I forgot he's a part of the conglomeration. So you mean to tell me he's in Paragon and the conglomeration?
Yeah, he's probably not going to be in Paragon for much longer, sadly.
And you know what? Our bro Skyler said it best, and I can't not think about this every time I see the conglomeration. The conglomeration are just a bunch of theater bros. They are the guys that you make friends with in a show and you go to Denny's with after performances.
God damn it, man.
I could see myself getting a grand slam with Tomohiro Ishii. I could see myself getting a stack of pancakes with Orange Cassidy.
I could see myself getting orange juice with Hologram. Right?
Yeah. So that's a fuck. What did I tell you? What did I tell you during the last review? The AEW 0 Hour is a lawless land where anything can happen.
Yeah, and Big Boom AJ is teaming with them, and they're taking on the Don Callis family, made up of, get this, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Lance Archer, and Hechi Seto.
Vice.
When did Hechi Seto join
the group?
when did he join Don Callis? I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
When Hechicero faced MJF at Worlds Collide?
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. About that.
There's only 2 things I want to talk about with this match. Number 1, God damn it, I hate to admit it, Big Boom AJ, he's a decent worker, and he gets a reaction every time he works these shows. You know what? Tony Khan, he's listening to the casuals and the hardcores at the same time. He's not putting this guy on the main card. He is strictly a 0 hour guy. But you know what? I have to give his son some credit.
Yeah.
I have to give Big Just some credit because he gave Trent Beretta a fucking spear and it looked good.
He did. And Big Justice wants to get into the business, you know. Like, I'm sure Costco will gladly pay for his wrestling school, you know, because
I'm surprised Costco isn't on this man's tights.
I don't know. It's, I mean, you double chunk chocolate cookies written all over his tights already. Like, only thing missing is the actual Costco logo.
Well, to quote our buddy Greg, I don't give a fuck about the chonka.
Well,
but you know what?
You might.
Big Boom AJ. Big Boom AJ is a good wrestler. I will give him that.
Yeah.
The power boom is a pretty cool move.
Did he pin Rocky Romero with that one?
He did.
Yeah.
And that was such a crazy sight for me because here I am seeing a TikToker pin a dude that I once watched wrestled in my local middle school gym. I shit you not.
Well, it's the same guy that pinned QT Marshall in his first pay-per-view match, right?
Yeah, it's the AEW 0 Hour is truly a lawless land. I one day I want AEW to do a 0 hour pay-per-view where it's just matches like this.
Wouldn't it be 0 hours then?
$50 for it.
Wouldn't it be 0 hours?
$50 for it. Yeah, don't charge $50 for it. Charge like $30 for it, and don't even advertise it. Just on one episode of Dynamite, be like, hey, this Sunday, here's a bunch of fucking 8-man tags with the randomest motherfuckers you're ever going to see, and it's going to be like the greatest wrestling pay-per-view of all time.
Well, I'm sure
they need to create a 0 hour championship, and Big Boom AJ needs to be the first champion.
Man, I'm sure FTR would very much oppose a 0 hours pay-per-view because they were on the 0 hour for the biggest show of the year because they had other ideas for FTR on the main show. They were doing commentary for the tag match, or the tag title match, rather. They defeated the Outrunners, who, boy, have lost a lot of steam since losing to the Hurt Syndicate at, what the fuck was it, Dynasty? Where they wrestled the Hurt Syndicate? I don't remember.
I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that. They are still very over, and apparently they had a really good match with FTR last week on Collision, which prompted this rematch. And apparently, I didn't see the match on Collision, but apparently this match wasn't as good as that match, which... it's kind of like the sequel is never as good as the first. This was a fine match, and it was a good showing of good tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen the Outrunners get the win here, but understanding that they had plans for FTR on the main show. And, if Outrunners are, a throwback to 80s babyface tag teams, FTR are the perfect foil for them because they are really emanating the classic old school 80s heel tag team.
Yeah, it's like the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. It's like a second coming, which is ironic because Tully actually did manage FTR for a little bit in their early years in AEW.
Both teams are really tributes to old school tag team wrestling, which is why I think they have such good chemistry. Dax DX and Cash Wheeler get the dirty win after Stokely Hathaway helps them get the roll-up and pulling the tights. They claim that the Outrunners are in the rearview mirror, but you know what? I think another match is prompted, and the Outrunners need to get the big win.
Heavily debatable if the Outrunners are in the rear view. But we'll see. I mean, FTR is probably going to be tied up with a certain other tag team at a big pay-per-view down the line, and we'll get to that. But on to the main show, and I promise this podcast is not going to be 6 hours long like the original pay-per-view was. We open with a match that actually was added pretty last minute. For the Trios Championships here, you have the Opps, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata defending against the goddamn motherfucking piece of shit Death Riders made up of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd. Yes, in canon, they are known as the goddamn motherfucking piece of shit Death Riders for all eternity. Because that was a horrible...
But they're not.
It was a horrible fucking faction. Horrible fucking faction.
John Moxley wasn't in this match, so it wasn't the full Death Riders.
Well,
I know. I'm the only person that fucking cares about that.
Yeah, Gabe Kidd's a member of the Death Riders, though.
So real quick, a little bit of, just a little bit of background going into this match. The Opps, I like the Opps. I think they're a cool team. They dubbed themselves as Vigilante Justice. Samoa Joe said on the Dynasty. He said on Dynasty, like, hey, we're here, and if we see some bullshit, we're going to step in and stop it. So they've kind of become like the enforcers of AEW. And you know what? When you have three badasses like Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Katsuyori Shibata, those are three guys I want watching my back.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to mess with those guys at all.
No. So the Opps defeated the Death Riders for the Trios titles when Hook was in the group. But Hook, I don't know if it was a kayfabe injury or not. He started puking at ringside, so Hook had to be taken out, and he was replaced with Powerhouse Hobbs. At Double or Nothing, Hook made the save for the Opps in Anarchy in the Arena, but he seems a little upset that he was replaced by Powerhouse Hobbs, so a little bit of friction going there into the Opps. The Opps have proudly offered their services to Hangman Adam Page to protect him going into All In, so they're defending their trio titles here. This was a fine enough opener.
Yeah.
I feel like it did feel a little random to add at the last second to an already somewhat bloated card. But when you look at the overall story, the overall narrative of the pay-per-view, I do think this match needed to be here.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. And there's nothing really technically wrong with the wrestling here. Nobody botched like crazy. Gabe Kidd is a fucking maniac. As is Katsuyori Shibata to an even greater extent, because that man, I think, took a couple of like brain busters in this match for a guy whose mythos is that he fucking fractured his skull and almost died in a wrestling ring, and he lived to tell the tale. Like, he should not be taking brain busters ever. Like,
I said this once and I will say it again. Do not, and I repeat, do not look up the headbutt that caused this injury in the first place, because it is still probably the most disgusting thing I've heard in my life.
He was taking headbutts too. He was taking headbutts in this match.
But like, that initial spot, that skull cracking against skull, like, I wish I could erase that from my memory.
Yeah, but except it lives rent free in your head. I would honestly argue out of the 6 people in this match, and I do appreciate all 6 as workers, I think the MVP was Powerhouse Hobbs. Because he just looked like $1 million in here. And I know he challenged Jon Moxley once or twice for the world title, but at some point, wishful thinking, I would love at least a short little world title run for Powerhouse Hobbs. It might just be me, and it might just be a far-fetched fantasy at this point, I am pulling for Hobbs so much to hit the top of the mountain, but that remains to be seen. His spine busters and his power slams look fucking beautiful in this thing. There was some pretty good. Go ahead. Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy who has greatly improved since his debut in AEW? It's Powerhouse Hobbs, and I would 100% support you wanting him to be world champion. There's a lot of guys, not just in AEW, but WWE, that I look at and go, you have like 4 or 5 world titles floating around. Why can't you put it on this guy? What is so wrong about that?
Hobbs, I think, is a complete package wrestler. Like,
he is.
A full stop. You know, he's got the look, he's got the physique, he's got the skill, he's got the agility. I think he's like, he checks all the boxes for a main event player. So,
and I met him at WrestleCon, and he's a chill ass dude too.
Yes.
So Powerhouse Hobbs truly has it all, and I think they found a good enough, because poor Powerhouse Hobbs, I feel like he's just been bouncing from faction to faction to faction. I think this faction right here is a perfect spot for him.
What?
Don't
he goes
Wardlow
from
this guy. I swear to God.
He goes from Team Taz to the fucking Don Callis family, and then he defects from there, and he joins the Opps after he turns babyface. Like, yeah, you're right. He does hop between faction. It's crazy. But yes,
Wardlow this guy.
Please
don't.
Please. Yeah.
I think, as much as I like Wardlow, I think Powerhouse Hobbs is a step above Wardlow. And if you do this man
100%.
I don't think I could ever forgive this company. I don't think I could forgive this company.
100%.
If they do Powerhouse Hobbs dirty.
Yeah, and I like, everybody remembers when Wardlow was going to be the next big star in AEW, homegrown, maybe even dethroning MJF for the world title a couple of years ago. But where the fuck has Wardlow been? Not a fucking peep. But anyway, the hot tag, of course, goes to the veteran, Samoa Joe, one of my favorites of all time. And he does end up pinning and winning to retain the Trios Championships for his team. He does hit the Muscle Buster on Wheeler Yuta. Match went a good 14, 15 minutes. I'm going to give it 3 stars. It was a fine opener. The one big part of this match, and the story of the match was not the match itself, it was the aftermath. And exactly to your point, it was also its placement on the card in the curtain jerking position, which I will also mention, Samoa Joe opening an All In pay-per-view, what the fuck could go wrong? And then the other side of the coin is Samoa Joe is slaughtered by the Death Riders after this match. And Excalibur on commentary does a superb job of explaining the Death Riders' motivation here. So what happens is the Death Riders are beating up Samoa Joe 3-on-1, and Claudio takes a steel chair, puts it around Samoa Joe's neck, and Claudio Pillmanizes this man. And the whole idea was, let's make sure that Hangman has as little help as possible going into tonight's main event. Because
if you thought for 1 second Samoa Joe was going to come strutting down that ramp, ripping off a neck brace to help out, nope, he was stretchered out. So once you saw that, I was like, nah, Joe is 100% taken out of the equation. I think it would have been a little cooler, even though, we needed to have this match, if like maybe a couple of weeks heading into the pay-per-view, the Death Riders were slowly, one by one, picking off Hangman Adam Page's allies, just to show how they could be. Here's the thing about the Death Riders. They're a cool concept, but the way they were just utilized was complete, utter bullshit. They became the bad guys of the month, the flavor of the month, the villains of the month. And if you would have utilized them in a more like true threat to the company, like doing stuff like that, like, hey, this wasn't a good storyline either, but remember in WCW when I think it was Kevin Nash, he was just breaking people's arms? Like he broke half of the roster's arms? Do something like that. Make these guys so threatening, though so scary, that other wrestlers are looking over their shoulders in the back area. Are these guys going to strike? Are they going to attack me? What do they have against me? But they didn't really utilize that, right? And this was a good example of how good the Death Riders could have been.
Yeah, and they handled the Death Riders in the most bullshit way possible. And I don't want to dwell on that too much because this show did make me very happy. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going
to give the match 2 3/4 stars. I think it went a little long for my taste. I think like when it opened, like it was going at a good pace, but I think it kind of just it slogged a little. It was a perfectly fine match, a perfectly innocent match to open the show, but the aftermath was really what it was about. And I do like pay-per-views that have a narrative that goes throughout the entire show. And this set a good precedent because this was the beginning. The middle for me was going to be the tag match with the Young Bucks and Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, because though the Bucks aren't officially part of the Death Riders, they've been allies to the Death Riders, and Ospreay has sworn his life to protect Hangman Adam Page. And then, Swerve Strickland, we'll save that. We'll save that for later in the show.
Don't even get me started on the Young Bucks and Death Riders alliance. That was such fucking bullshit. But
I will get you started on the beautiful, and I mean beautiful storytelling between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland.
Yes. Yeah.
My God.
We will touch on that when we get to the main event. But our next match also, it's not directly related to the main event, but it does have some world title implications, my friend.
We have the Casino Men's Battle Royale Gauntlet. I think I said that wrong. No, the men's Casino Gauntlet match for a future shot at an AEW world title. I have such a love-hate relationship with this concept. On one hand, I think it's very cool that AEW has their version of the Royal Rumble. It's like the Royal Rumble in the sense where, in apparently unpredictable intervals, you have people entering the match like a Royal Rumble, but it's a gauntlet match in the sense of the first person to get pinfall or submission. So it's a really cool concept. My issue with it is to have both the men's and the women's on one card is a lot. And if it's not going to be the focal point of the show like the Royal Rumble is, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of sets people up for failure in the sense of they'll be expecting a lot from these matches, and they're very hit or miss for me.
It lessens the impact of the match, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, if they were to do one of these, like at Double or Nothing, and the winner gets, I mean, I know that they have the Owen, and the Owen is more like their, Royal Rumble winner gets the WrestleMania shot. But I don't know. I feel like AEW needs to tweak this concept a little, maybe make these a little more important for a bigger pay-per-view. Like, if the King of the Ring is to what SummerSlam, I feel like that's what the Casino Men's Gauntlet, or the Gauntlet in general, needs to be for like a, I don't know, an All Out, a Double or Nothing, maybe even a World's End. Like, maybe just make them a little more connected. It just felt like with both of these matches, and we'll get into the women's match a little later, if this was more of a focal point, I would expect a lot less and, maybe enjoy these a little more. But when this is match number 2 of a 6-hour show, and this match went 34 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
There was a lot to be desired. And, when you look at the narrative of the match, there was only 2 people that mattered, and that's what the whole build was going into here. Number 1 and number 2. Maxwell Jacob Freakman and Mark Briscoe.
Yes.
That's what this whole story was about. And apparently this came about because MJF has really wanted to work with Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe has really become the fan favorite, endearing babyface ever since his brother passed away, which I absolutely love to death. MJF and Mark Briscoe had a talkie talk on AEW Dynamite, which is basically just, a promo.
A talkie talk. That's literally what they build it as.
A talkie talk. And, it gave Mark Briscoe a really good opportunity to show what he can do on the mic. I know I had my issues with MJF saying the whole, you should have been in the car accident instead of Jay. It ruffled my feathers in the beginning, but now I look at it and just go, whatever. Typical MJF. It's not going to change.
Yeah. But it should also be noted MJF is accompanied by his fellow Hurt Syndicate member, MVP. Because remember, MJF is a member of the Hurt Syndicate. These two, I mean, they go to work.
Still don't know how I feel about that alliance.
These two go to work, and I mean, what do you expect? These two are really solid workers, so it's going to be great. I'm going to try and breeze through these entrants as quick as I can, because there's a lot happening.
Yeah, I'm going to let you cover that because the entrants, I ironically are not on the Wikipedia page, so I only remember a handful of them.
So
I know ironically because he debuted last year's All In this same match.
Yeah, because the next entrant is the only bald wrestler that's ever existed in human history in Ricochet. And the crowd is very quick to point this out by chanting bald at this man. And I'm like, Hey, way to point out the obvious. Ricochet is still the only bald wrestler that's ever existed in history.
So Gabe Kidd and Claudio Castagnoli weren't in the match before. Like Ricochet wasn't sharing a ring with Mark Briscoe.
That's correct. Well, Mark Briscoe is not bald. Kurt Angle never got his head shaped bald by Adam Copeland at Judgment Day 2002. That never happened.
And let me guess, neither did Mr. McMahon because you want to erase that match from your memory.
That's right. But unfortunately, we have to talk about it, so that's what we get. MJF and Ricochet form a brief alliance until Bandito comes in next. That's right. The Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion is in a match to potentially get an AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So he's going to be a belt collector like Mercedes Moné at some point.
Obviously.
Mark Briscoe does Cactus Jack tribute just like he did at Double or Nothing against Ricochet. They pull out the same spot. Out comes Konosuke Takeshita, who I feel like is a big dark horse in this thing. Hits a blue thunder bomb on Ricochet. Of course, there's a near fall there because nobody wins with a blue thunder bomb. Here comes Mystico at number 6, and MJF does not like Mexican people, so of course he sees Mystico and he's like offended that Mystico would enter this match. Thankfully,
I would love to see MJF and Chad Gable shake hands.
Right. Well, thank God Mystico does not tear his ACL like Sin Cara did all those years ago.
It's also really important to note that apparently Konosuke Takeshita and Bandito tore it up the previous night at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which really fucking cool.
Yeah. For the world title.
Whatever gives... Yeah, and I know I've had my fair share to say about Ring of Honor, but whatever gets them attention, good. Because, I don't want the brand to die. I just want it to be... I just want to see it kind of restored back to its glory days. I know that's not going to happen. I look at Ring of Honor the same way I look at NXT. I know we will never go back to the black and gold. And the current NXT product is really fucking good, especially on the women's side. But I still look at both of those products and go, is there any chance we could have an NXT takeover again? And with Ring of Honor, I'm like, is there any chance we could go back to those classic red ropes, that Ring of Honor logo in the middle of the ring, and them just, the days of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe and Claudio Castagnoli. Like, you know what I mean?
And Kevin Steen and El Generico and all those guys.
The Briscoes. Yeah, just a small rant I had to go down.
Adam Cole, don't tempt me with a good time. Out next is Josh Alexander, the walking weapon. He goes out there with a bunch of German suplexes. It should be noted Josh Alexander is not as bald as Ricochet is, even though he's pulling all of Kurt Angle's offense out. Out next is Anthony Bowens, the pride of professional wrestling. He should be getting a fucking massive push with that gimmick, and I don't know why he isn't.
Man, we remember when we were hoping with a grain of salt, like, fucking do something with this guy.
This whole lineup is like underutilized, underrated talent that we've been seeing over the past like year or two. Not that I can say Josh Alexander is underrated because he has been a TNA World Heavyweight Champion for a good chunk of his career.
The longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion, mind you.
Oh, I fucking forgot about that. I'm sorry. But speaking of underrated, out comes Roderick Strong, and he goes out there with an angle slam for a near fall. Takeshita...
I totally forgot. This is how bad this feud ended up being. I totally forgot he had beef with MJF. Because MJF sees him and he goes, no, oh my god. I'm like, I forgot about that.
Remember the full gear match that MJF and Roddy had when it should have been Adam Cole in that spot?
Fucking hated it. So thanks for reminding me of that. Strong hits MJF with a knee, running to the ring. He's a house of fire. Again, really good wrestlers in this match. Just Is Max Caster next? Because I want to talk about that.
No. Brody King is next. Brody King is next.
Brody King, who has been massively over with the crowd ever since he wore his Abolish Ice shirt.
Yeah.
Which good for him.
Protects
the Arena Mexico show.
Protects Brody King at all costs and abolish Ice.
No, Zack. Don't protect Brody King. I think he's very well able to protect himself.
Yeah. Bandito hits a frog splash on Ricochet. And yeah, you're right. Brody King is, he could he could take on a whole army of 10 ice people by himself. So he could eat them all.
Let's just say if I saw Brody King in public, I wouldn't even breathe in his direction.
No. But
then again, he's probably a hella chill ass dude, and I'd like to meet him.
oh yeah, I'm sure he is. But hey, you wanna talk about chill dudes who made their return? Welcome back to Rock Hard Juice Robinson with a whole new look. Looks like he's Bo Dallas circa 2013. It's very bizarre looking at this man, and he has like a Damian Priest inspired attire. And he's a house of fire. Ricochet has some goons come out to help him, because I guess he can't hold off Juice fucking Robinson. But then Ricochet's goons are fought off.
Think about that?
Yeah, go for it.
I forgot that Ricochet had a couple of cronies, and it just reminds me of NXT because Wes cronies with them now, and I'm like, are we really putting Ricochet and Wesley on the same level? Like, that's a little weird, a little random.
Yeah, remember?
Okay.
Remember when Ricochet jumped ship thinking he was going to be the world champion? And he's the reason AEW exists.
Oh, hold on. We have praised Ricochet for his excellent heel work in the company. I think he's in a good spot. I just think he's in between angles. I don't want to write him off as a AEW failure yet. He's not fucking Camille. He's not Jamie Hayter. He's but I just found the parallels very strange. But like you were saying, I popped for this. The Ass Boys are back.
Now let me hear you say Ass Boy.
Is it bad? Is it bad that I kind of forgot the Bang Bang Gang existed?
Bullet Club Gold. Bullet Club Gold.
No, they're called that now. Well, have they all been injured? I know Juice Robinson was injured. I know Jay White's still injured. Where were the Ass Boys?
Man, how the tables have turned, because he was correcting me when I called them the Bang Bang Gang.
But they're called Bang Bang Gang now. They're literally called that now.
What happened to Bullet Club Gold? What happened?
They're not called that anymore.
Did New Japan get their panties in a bunch and say, hey, you can't use Bullet Club anymore? We own that. We made that cool.
Honestly, that's a kind of a good point, because they're Bang Bang Gang now. I remember Ace Austin and Chris Bay were part of the Bullet Club in TNA, but then they changed their name to the ABC Club. I'm sorry, the ABC, the Austin and Bay Club. So I don't know. Maybe New Japan is really fucking tight ass about the Bullet Club trademark.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3, right? If it's ABC. But anyway, out next is the Guns and Ricochet's goons fight up the ramp as Kota Ibushi comes down. You want to talk about dark horses? And give me him and Konosuke Takeshita in a 60-minute Broadway. Like, I need that injected into my veins. Like,
I mean, if Ibushi can fucking hang for 60 minutes, yeah.
I mean, at this point in his career, who knows? You have the Beast.
Yeah, because this man has glass bones and papier-mâché skin.
The Beast Mortos comes out. Everybody's getting their shit in at this point. Rack Bomb to Roderick Strong. Froggy Bow. Anthony Bowens hitting a DDT. Strong with an End of Heartache. MJF with an Alabama Slam. Sick Kick. Roddy was the only guy in the ring with the other 12 guys out on the floor as the last entrant comes out. And wouldn't you know it, it's the best wrestler alive.
Platinum Max Caster. And you know what? The fucking gimmick is growing on me. The fucking gimmick is growing on me.
I have a problem with this though. I'll let you go over like what happens here when he makes his way to the ring.
But here's the thing. I know what you're gonna say, but hear me out. So Caster is strutting down the ring. He has a microphone in his hand, and he tells everyone in Texas that the best wrestler alive is here now, and he wants them to chant for him. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. And Anthony Bowens is on the ramp going, this motherfucker again. And as he gets up to the apron, he's immediately knocked off the top of Anthony Bowens. Here's the thing. I know what you're going to say. This is bullshit. Why are they treating Max Castro like this? I think that's the point. I think that's the point of his character. He thinks he's the best wrestler alive, but he's a fucking loser. He's
So
a fucking dork. He's Santino Marella.
the point of this character is to bury him? Like, that's...
Listen,
I have a legitimate question about
he's
this.
Santino Marella. What was Santino Marella? He was a comedy act. He went out there and, he talked shit to Batista. He talked shit to Stone Cold. He got his ass kicked every single time. But you know what? It was memorable every single time. I'm not saying Max Caster is to that degree yet, but, it's you kind of need the jester. You kind of need the ass of the joke. And I'm kind of understanding where they're going with this. And the fucking chant is starting to grow on me. He's delusional.
Max
he really thinks he's the best wrestler alive.
He's a delusional motherfucker, but Max Caster deserves so much better than this. He deserves better than being the jester. I'm sorry. I know somebody has to do it, but when the Acclaimed was a thing, him and Anthony Bowens were over as fuck. These two guys were on top of the fucking wrestling world, and now they have been reduced to being split up. Anthony Bowens has a great look, a great character, a great gimmick, and AEW has yet to do anything with him, really, of note. And Max Caster has now made the ass of the joke. I think the Acclaim deserves way better,
I'll level with you. I'll level with you. Though I think the gimmick is entertaining, there is a very good chance that both of these gimmicks are going to collapse into one another, and the Acclaimed could reform. That's not out of the question. We could see a reunion a couple years down the line.
Maybe.
If they're still with the company at that point.
A hard maybe. But, I mean, yeah. I'm sure Max Caster's a lifer here. I'm sure he doesn't want to go to the company that made him one of Bobby Lashley's sisters. But, hey, stranger things have happened. But the match actually does come to a conclusion here after Max Caster makes his entrance shortly afterwards. Mark hits a J Driller on Roddy. MJF throws Mark out of the ring, and MJF, like the sneaky little shit that he is, picks up the scraps and pins Roddy 1-2-3 to win the contract. I mean, this was the most predictable outcome here. MJF is going to be walking around with that cute little contract, threatening to cash in over the next year or so.
I don't think it's a cash in. It is a cash in.
It is a cash in. Christian Cage won this same match last year, and it was a cash in that he fucking failed at Revolution.
But AEW has been pretty inconsistent with this, and Tony Khan at the presser did say the title shots will be figured out at a later date.
Okay,
I don't think this is a cash in. And considering, because what have I been complaining about ever since MJF returned? When is he going to chase the world title again? Well, here it is. And even though I wish he was a babyface, I wish he was that hardcore tweener. Considering who won the main event, I think this is a perfect first program for him. This was the only way to go. They could have given Mark Briscoe the feel-good win, but I think just with storyline purposes and to keep MJF on a relevant trajectory, this is the way they needed to go. So I'm 100% for this. And to quote Monster, predictable doesn't always mean bad.
Right. And I know a lot of people were predicting Darby Allin to win this contract, and I'm like, no, you gotta save Darby Allin and his mystique from surviving Mount fucking Everest for his return later on, but we'll get to that.
There's been talks about Eddie Kingston. I guess Eddie Kingston's not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
Neither was Jay White.
I was picking Eddie Kingston as well, but, I mean, if he's not ready to compete, I want him to be healthy. That's all I wish on any wrestler. So...
that man had like 37 injuries he let pile up. The longer I understand, he's one guy where I'm like, you don't come back until you're 100% ready. And apparently that day is coming because he's been posting training videos on Instagram. He's hinting that he's almost ready to come back.
Which is actually a very depressing segue into what we're going to talk about next. But I'm going to give this Casino Gauntlet like 3.5 stars. I don't think it was as good as last year's Gauntlet. It was still a good lot full of fun. If Tony wants to keep doing these, I'm all for it. I think it's a really fun concept.
I'm going to give it 3. I thought it was fine enough, and I thought it was fun. I just thought it went a little long for my tasting, and, I just need them to solidify these rules, and I need them to solidify the stipulation, and I need them to solidify the importance of this match for a future date. I don't want to always compare to WWE, but if the WWE has the King of the Ring, which corresponds to SummerSlam, and the Royal Rumble that corresponds with WrestleMania. The Casino Gauntlet is important enough, or it should correspond. And, AEW has one of those. The Owen determines who gets the title shot at All In. I think the Casino Gauntlet needs to determine, again, an all-out, a dynasty. Make another one of your pay-per-views just as important as All In.
That's right. Yeah, just give
AEW needs their SummerSlam.
Give the Casino Gauntlet its own pay-per-view. Like that's the easiest solution here. But let's get into
TNA had the Bound for Glory series, which determined a Bound for Glory. They had the King of the Mountain, which was a really important match to them. Every company needs their signature match. WWE has the Royal Rumble. TNA had the King of the Mountain. They had the
Ultimate X
lockdown matches. Ultimate X. I think AEW needs their signature match, which needs to be. I don't think the Royal Rumble would be as important if the winner didn't get a world title shot at WrestleMania.
WCW had War Games. ECW had every hardcore match under the sun. So, yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from. And sorry if I'm seeming a little bit down right now, because this next thing we have to talk about is just, it pains me so much. So up next, we were supposed to get a TNT Championship match between the defending champion Adam Cole against Kyle Fletcher. Well, it's not panning out like this, my friends, because Adam Cole is injured again, and we don't know what's wrong with him. So he has to vacate the TNT Championship, and he comes out with the belt, and this man is sobbing, like full on, like you've never seen him before in this state of mind. And I don't know what the injury is, and I think it's icky to speculate what the health issues are, but it's realistic to think that this is the last time we've ever seen Adam Cole wrestle, and he even said in his promo, like, I don't want to even contemplate retirement, but Adam Cole is he's one of the most genuine, down-to-earth souls the industry has ever seen. And I can speak truth to that as someone who's met him. I'm wearing the shirt I wore that day I met him. This is a picture. There's a picture of me with that man. I'll never forget the interaction I had with him, and it was so fun. And it's just, it sucks. It sucks thinking that
there's
I'll let you go.
There's a couple of things I want to say about this ordeal. Number one, we have discussed this many, many, many times before. We've talked about the downfall of Adam Cole. We talked about how he was riding so much momentum. The MJF storyline was absolutely perfect. It got derailed by unfortunate injuries after unfortunate injuries. And when he came back, they fucked the entire thing up. And it just felt like Adam Cole could not get his footing back. He was in that terrible storyline with MJF, which led to the very forgetful TNT feud with Daniel Garcia. And when Adam Cole won the TNT title, it just very much felt like a consolation prize. He wasn't really doing anything to light that division on fire. AEW relegated him to Collision. And when I looked at it, I wasn't really saying, oh, fuck Adam Cole. Well, what are we doing here? If you're not going to utilize this guy the way he should be utilized, why are we even bothering at this point? And I don't want to say I didn't care about Adam Cole. I just didn't care what the company was giving him. And, and also what really made me mad is that near the end of that MJF feud, I feel like people were starting to bully Adam Cole a little. Oh, look at the little man. No. And I mean, people have been making fun of Adam Cole's size for years, which go fuck yourself. You can't call yourself a Bryan Danielson fan if you're going to pick on Adam Cole.
No.
You can't call yourself a Rey Mysterio fan if you're going to pick on Adam Cole. And then there was that time where they said, like, oh, what's with that terrible tan job? He looks like he has fucking jaundice. And it felt like the crowd was turning on him. And I wasn't turning on him, but I was just kind of looking at him, shaking my head going, what are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? And when this came up, I'm just like, I didn't want to see this happen to Adam Cole. I just wanted to see better booking for him. He had his discount ass version of the Undisputed Era in Paragon. And I'm like, we are so far removed from the Undisputed Era fucking lighting the world on fire in NXT.
Yeah.
And it just felt just so sad to look at. And, you know, I didn't want this to happen. And it just sucks because as someone who met Adam Cole the same day you did, my conversation with him wasn't even wrestling related. I wanted to know who he plays as in Super Smash Brothers. And he's a cool ass dude.
And I can at least take some consolation in knowing that if this is the last time Adam Cole has ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring, and again, I don't want to think about that right now, at least he has other avenues and other career paths. I know that being a pro wrestler is all he ever wanted to do with his life, but him as Chugs on the streaming platforms, he's built quite the following there. So he could make a career out of that. He could focus on that. He could become an announcer in the same way Corey Graves did when concussions ended his career. But again,
knowing AEW and the way they treat their wrestlers, I would be damn ashamed if Tony Khan didn't immediately go to Adam Cole and say, you're going to be an agent. You're going to be a trainer. You're going to be a writer. Like, you're going to have a job here. Like, just because you can't wrestle anymore doesn't mean you're not part of the family anymore. And if for some reason that didn't happen, if he didn't become an agent, I think AEW needs to start branching their demographics, and Adam Cole needs to become their Xavier Woods. He needs to start a streaming channel that AEW sponsors. And if for some reason they don't want to do that, you know damn well Xavier Woods was probably the first person to text him and be like, bro, come back to the streams.
Come back to the party. We need the party.
Yeah.
And him asking,
which, let me guess.
What color do you want?
What color do you want? And what did Adam Cole say?
Red. I'll never
I would
forget
play fucking Uno with that man for 10 hours straight.
Yeah, but, I mean, he wouldn't be your friend if you're playing Uno with him, because there are no friends when you play Uno. Like, that's
right, you're not my fucking friend when we play Uno.
That's the universal rule. But in its place, after that gutting promo, and I wish Adam Cole nothing but the best in his recovery.
That man was crying.
Yeah, I was crying. I teared up a little bit. Yeah, you can tell this shit means something to him. And the memories just start flooding back, and it's like everything just flashes before you. But we move on from this depressing ass promo to a fatal 4-way match to crown a new TNT champion. Kyle Fletcher is in the match, so it feels like, okay, this is just a formality. But now he's got to go through 3 guys. And it's Daniel Garcia, Dustin Rhodes, and Sammy Guevara in the ring with him. So three people who have been with AEW basically from the very beginning are putting over the young stud, right? No!
That's what I thought.
No! Yeah. That's not what happened. And honestly, this match really wasn't all that spectacular. I mean, there wasn't really anything wrong with the wrestling, per se. It was just, after that gutting promo from Adam Cole, it was just, like, it was hard for me to get into it, you know? But I will admit, they did something that was very out of the blue and a very pleasant surprise. What happened is, you know, Dustin Rhodes is going, like, you know, he's haywire in this match, and approximately at 91 years old, Dustin Rhodes has still got it, definitely. You know?
Yeah. Not Dustin. Daniel Garcia had the Dragon Tamer onto Dustin Rhodes, and Dustin was able to pivot it into a small package, and I saw Sammy Guevara coming from the corner of my eye, like, oh, Guevara's going to break this up. If I'm going to nitpick one little thing about this, I think Guevara went for the save a little too early, because the ending looked a little botched, and I thought it was like a mistake. But no, Guevara does not break up the pin, and Dustin wins the TNT championship.
Who would have thunk it?
I was so shocked.
But after that initial
I thought
shock,
it was a mistake.
No, you thought it was a botched finish?
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh shit, did Dustin just accidentally win the TNT title? Because I will admit, it wasn't the cleanest finish in the world.
No, it wasn't. And the Dragon Tamer into the small package isn't the the cleanest of transitions, especially with Dustin Rhodes at this phase in his career when he's DDP yogaed up. He's still in some pretty solid shape for the age he is at, but
you want to talk about people that need to be protected at all costs?
Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, that man's timeless. Yeah. He is timeless, for lack of a better word.
And I think I need to echo what Greg said. If you can still go.
Yeah.
But if you can't and you're just stinking up the joint, Chris Jericho, then that's when I don't want to see the old guys on TV. But if you can still go, then by all means, fucking go.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, and it's not like this match, again, I'm probably going to give it 2.5 stars. Like, there wasn't technically anything wrong with the wrestling. Again, it was a really, really hard position for this match to be in after the Adam Cole segment. But the shock and surprise of Dustin Rhodes pulling out the miracle and winning the TNT Championship. And yes, people are going to do the memes. In Texas, yes. And the people did the memes of Dustin on the shoulders holding the TNT title, like right next to his brother, finishing the story at WrestleMania with the WWE title around his waist. Not saying that the TNT title and the WWE title are the same thing, of course not. But Dustin had tears in his eyes. You could tell this meant so much to him. I believe.
Yeah, when I saw that image of Dustin being presented the title when he was crying, I was like, yeah, I'm all for this. I'm all fucking for this.
Yeah.
And also, guys, if for some reason you have a stick up your ass about this, hear me out. It's the TNT title. That title hasn't meant shit in at least 3 years. So why do you fucking care about what happens to the TNT title?
Yeah.
He didn't win the world title. He didn't win the international title. And if he did, so fucking what?
Well, let me counter that real quick. Because I feel like people are a bit more upset, and I'm noticing, because Kyle Fletcher didn't win. So fucking what? Kyle Fletcher, if it was Adam Cole across the ring from Kyle Fletcher, yeah, no doubt about it. It was time to crown Kyle Fletcher. But you can do Kyle Fletcher as the TNT champion literally anytime you want to. I don't
think you can do Dustin as champion ever again.
Dustin Rhodes has approximately, probably 2 or 3 months left in his career. I don't know how much longer he has. We can enjoy Dustin Rhodes while we still can.
And let me remind you, that's his in-ring career. This man just signed a 5-year deal with AEW. He's not going anywhere.
This man, there are not many more opportunities to crown him. And Tony Khan rewarded him for the loyalty. And smile-inducing moment.
Again, it's the TNT title. You didn't give a fuck about the TNT title when Jack Perry was champion. You didn't give a fuck about the TNT title when Daniel Garcia was champion. You didn't give a fuck about the TNT title when Adam Cole was champion. But now all of a sudden you want to care about it just because an old man won it? Go fuck yourself.
Hell, I would argue. I would argue.
Give the man his flowers.
I would argue that people didn't give a shit when Adam Copeland was the champion.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's probably the last time that title felt prestigious. And Adam Copeland never lost the TNT championship. He had to vacate it because of injury. So
and that's when Adam Copeland was doing the Cope Open. You know, basically an homage to John Cena. Yeah. And also, what was I gonna say? Dustin Rhodes. This is his first singles championship since 2002, since we started watching wrestling.
What?
How fucking wild is that?
The hardcore championship, I think? Wow.
The hardcore Since then, what? Goldust won the tag team titles with Booker T. He won them with his brother Cody. He won the Ring of Honor tag team titles with Sammy Guevara. He's 1/3 of the trios or the 6-man champions in Ring of Honor. This man has not held a singles championship since the hardcore title, which he won at WrestleMania 18. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it, but Dustin Rhodes...
Good for him. Let him have this, my God.
Yeah, let him have this. It will not be a long run if it's going to make the people with the sticks up their ass feel better. Kyle Fletcher will probably beat him on an episode of TV even before All Out. So...
that will go right back to not caring about the TNT championship.
Yeah, so... Hey, fuck it. Keep the title on Dustin Rhodes as long as possible so I can care about it.
Dustin Rhodes is going to get the Jey Uso treatment. I hope Dustin holds this championship for an entire fucking year just to make you all mad.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
That's what you fucking get for asking for Jey Uso to lose the title. But
yeah.
I
banish you to Dustin Rhodes being TNT champion for 2 years.
That'd be fucking awesome.
You want to make it 3? Keep fucking talking. Keep fucking talking. We'll make it 3.
Make it sound like it's a punishment, but it's not. But
yeah.
This next match was not a punishment. This match was fucking awesome. Let's talk about it.
Now, this is probably the first match on this card with the biggest stakes of the night. It is the Young Bucks, the EVPs, the Founding Fathers, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, taking on the dream team of Swerve Strickland and the Billy Goat Will Ospreay, with a very important stipulation on the line. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they will not be able to challenge for the AEW World Championship for an entire year. But if the Bucks lose, they are no longer EVPs of AEW.
Man, a world where the Bucks are not EVPs anymore? Nobody being petty backstage? Nobody acting like fucking children? Man, that would be
unfortunately
a great dream.
I think it's a kayfabe. I think it's a kayfabe title. You know damn well they still have the power backstage, but
debatable.
Whatever ends this shitty EVP storyline with the Young Bucks, and this was one of the matches with the biggest stakes. Strickland and Ospreay have kind of formed like an unlikely alliance. They're both fighting for the same goal. But Ospreay agreed to the stipulation without even like going over it with Strickland first. And when he agreed to it, Strickland looks at him like, what the fuck? Why are you speaking for me? And I don't want to lose a shot at the world championship for a year. This is a huge risk.
That's why I thought the writing was on the wall that Ospreay was going to take the pin and the Bucks were actually going to take the Duke with this one. And then Ospreay and Swerve were probably going to have a year-long feud leading up to the finals of the Owen with Ospreay winning. But there's a lot that you could do with Swerve and Ospreay that are not related to the World Championship for a year. So I felt like the Bucks winning was more likely. But go for it.
Let me give AEW some credit here. Thank you for tweaking the stipulation that they only couldn't challenge for the world title for a year. Because I still think back to when Cody Rhodes said, if I lose this match, I will never challenge for the world championship. And he lost. And Cody Rhodes could never challenge for the world championship. Like ever. Never, ever, 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 ever.
That's the reason why Cody. That's the reason why Cody jumped ship.
Sure it was. But
yeah, it was.
Okay. I will. Okay. Every single person in this match got a special entrance, and yeah, they were long as fuck. But I love them. Will Ospreay, you know, he had his aerial assassins. He had his Assassin's Creed entrance. I'm kind of used to that at this point. But Swerve Strickland's entrance, my God. JoJo
talk about it? Yeah,
the widow of Bray Wyatt, came to the stage and she sung, what was it, Shaka Khan's Ain't Nobody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a song that Swerve used on the Indies.
Yeah, she performed that and it was beautiful.
And
oh my God, it like tugged at the heartstrings a little.
Not to mention, JoJo is performing on stage and the LEDs are littered with fireflies. Miss you, Wyndham.
Oh my God.
Miss you, Wyndham.
It was so fucking cool. Like, I think Swerve Strickland has my favorite entrances in AEW.
Yeah.
And then this is where it started to drag, and even commentary mentioned it. The Young Bucks come out, they do their regular entrance, then they leave the ramp, then they get on a little boat, and Justin Roberts recites like this 3-minute monologue about the Young Bucks being the founding fathers of AEW. And by the time it was all over, 2 things. Number 1, Taz said, well, at least it was long, which was pretty fucking funny. And then Tony Schiavone said, Will Ospreay has to be getting very antsy right now. He was the first person to enter, and he's had to sit through all of these entrances. Like, my boy Ospreay was probably sitting in the ring for a good 10 to 15 minutes, and at that point, it was probably like, okay, all the hype is gone. Can we get this fucking match underway now?
And when you put the best wrestler in the world basically in a cage like that, and he is just chomping at the bit to show off his fancy wrestling skills, oh man, you're going to get some magic. And that's what this match was. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the greatest tag team match I've ever seen because, again, there are some glaring issues with it. The referee, Rick Knox, was being very lenient with the tags in and out, especially as you get closer to the end. But there was one spot where I mean, it was just a beautiful sequence, a barrage back and forth of super kicks.
And before we go into the sequence, I have to say this. This happens every single fucking time we have a spot like this. The whole goddamn wrestling community is divided. You have the side that says, that was fucking awesome. I was on that side. Then you have the other side that's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? What is this flippy dippy nonsense? This isn't fucking wrestling, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, were you guys not hugged enough as children? Have you never been to a theme park? Have you never been to the movies? Have you never been to a swimming pool? Do you know what the word fun means?
AEW has a very different philosophy when it comes to putting a wrestling match together.
You are the type of people that you invite to a birthday party and then they fucking complain that there's not, that they have nacho cheese flavored Doritos instead of Cool Ranch. You are the stick in the muds. You are the party poopers. Like, you are the kind of people that I do not want to hang out with.
There were, I mean, it was just super kicks and destroyers galore, and then Ospreay, Will and Swerve get up and they hit a hidden blade house call combo on the Bucks.
It was crazy. It was like a super kick into an enziguri into another super kick. Then they got sent to the ropes, and then the Bucks did dual destroyers, and a house call and hidden blade combo. And when they just and Will Ospreay did this crazy thing where one of the Bucks like tried to powerbomb him. And then he just flawlessly flipped right out of it and hit an enziguri on one of them. Like, Will Ospreay is not a fucking human. I am convinced he is not a fucking human. He was created in a laboratory like Homelander.
He's allergic to having bad matches, man. He really is. And Swerve is no slouch either. And I've had my fair share to say about the Bucks, and I know what I say about their personality and how it rubs me the wrong way. But they still got it, man. As a tag team, I thought that they lost a little bit of their luster, but man, this match proves you otherwise.
Strickland and Ospreay hit a Swerve Stomp Stormbreaker combo too. Like, these guys are literally combining their finishers together, which is fucking awesome.
And the near falls in this were fantastic. An EVP trigger where Swerve saves Will from being pinned. The Bucks hit a Meltzer driver on Will as well, and I'm sure
DK driver.
I'm sure Will loves being in that maneuver, but because he's a big Meltzer fan, remember?
DK driver.
Yeah. Meltzer's here! Yeah! You remember that?
Old man is in the audience. Oh my God! Yeah, go crazy.
So the match finishes. Swerve hits a gigantic swerve stomp on Nick on the floor, which leaves Matthew alone in the ring, and you get the hidden blade house call combo, and Will and Swerve pull off the upset. And a lot of people are sitting here, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wow. Number one, that match was fantastic. It's sitting at 4.5 stars for me, but I was not expecting that result at all. Like, I was convinced that Swerve and Will were losing, and it was setting up a year-long build. But
I was also convinced that if Ospreay and Strickland won this match, I don't know. I don't think Tony Khan was going to give all the baby faces the win, so it made me a little nervous, but it was shocking. Like I said, this pay-per-view had some very shocking outcomes that I gladly welcomed.
Yes.
It's going to be nice to get away from this EVP shit with the Bucks, see what happens to them now, because they've been such dick bags the past year. I just want to see them get their ass kicked for like 6 weeks straight. I want them to get the bum-ass Corbin treatment. I want them to lose everything. Their limousines, their mansions, everyone's respect. Like, I want karma to come and bite these guys in the ass.
Well, then that means they turn into Happy Corbin later on. And do we really want that?
I want the Happy Bucks, yeah.
Do we really want them to be Happy Corbin for a little bit? I don't. I sure don't.
Come on, man. Baron Corbin, he was the definition of struggle, grind, shine. Happy Corbin.
What's next? Kazuchika Okada is their Madcap Moss and he just tells puns? What?
And he wears suspenders, yeah. You better shoot me in the head if they ever do that. I mean, Okada barely survived being the Green Hornet. or Zorro in TNA.
Oh, God. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, this match was
No,
excellent.
this is excellent. I agree with you. 4.5 stars.
Yeah, I'm not going to, again, I don't think this was as good as the Bucks against Hangman and Omega at Revolution, whenever that was. I'm not going to sit here and say this is better than a lot of the other tag team matches I've seen in my life. But this is a damn good one, for sure. For sure. That is undisputed. So up next, we do have another Casino Gauntlet match, this time on the women's side, and it's the same format. I don't need to go over the rules again like Alicia Taylor does at the Royal Rumble, but yeah.
27 minutes. 27 fucking minutes.
Hold on, Tomas.
I understand.
Hold on, Tomas. We'll get through this together.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get through this together.
No, all I was going to say was, I understand you can't do the men's match and not do the women's match and vice versa. But at the same time, my God, 2 of these on one card, that's a lot.
And they only
a lot.
And they only really announced the first 2 entrants, which were Chris Statlander and Megan Bayne. And these were the 2.
You know, kind of opened up the possibilities to some surprises.
Yes.
But we didn't really get any of those. Like, it really did show me how immersive the AEW women's division is. But my God.
Tay Mello wasn't a surprise?
No, I saw Ty Mello wrestle on Dynamite. She wrestled Megan Bayne.
Oh. Fuck me. I completely forgot about that. This is the first time I've seen Ty Mello in like 2 years.
And, you know, where was I going to go with that? You know, it's hard for women's division, and you know where I'm going with this. When you have a world championship and you have a secondary championship, that secondary championship is being held hostage.
I don't know, man, but...
Say what you want about WWE. Say what you want. But they have 2 women's world championships, 2 secondary women's championships that are being held by Becky Lynch and Julia. And one of those titles has elevated Lyra Valkyria to damn near main event status. You have an NXT Women's Championship. You have an NXT North American Women's Championship. You have women's tag team titles. And, you know, people will say, oh, that's too many titles. And I know I've been one to say in the past, too many titles is a bad thing. But at least the women's division is being showcased because there's enough titles to go around. Here in AEW, I'm looking at this match and I'm seeing Mina Shirakawa. I'm seeing Megan Bayne. I'm seeing wow, why am I blanking on her name?
Julia Hart.
Harley Cameron. Julia Hart. Thekla.
Yeah.
I love Thekla. She's really cool.
Queen Aminata.
Jay, Ty Mello, Queen Aminata. Like, there's a lot of talent on this roster, and you barely see them.
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. Thunder Rosa, who wrestled Athena at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Athena was also in this match. And there were, I mean...
She was the shocker for me. I wasn't expecting Athena.
Yeah, well, this ring fills up with 12 women eventually. And it gets to a point where, you know, you have some contenders in there. Thunder Rosa, Athena, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander. Megan Bayne is certainly a contender. But what they went with...
Megan Bayne was my pick.
What they went with, I wish I thought of this. What happens is Mina Shirakawa is running wild on Thunder Rosa. She hits a spinning back fist. Athena jumps off the top rope, hits Mina with the Eclipse, and pins her. Like, it's... Athena!
Still the craziest finisher. Craziest finisher I think I've ever seen in my life. And Athena she executes it to perfection. And before anybody says anything, I'm going to agree with Zack. I don't like the name the O-Face.
No.
That's disgusting.
It's the Eclipse. It's the Eclipse. Like, you know, I'm not going to call it anything else. It's like FTR calling their finisher Big Rig.
Big Rig was better. But the O-Face?
No, the Shatter Machine is way better.
I'm not going to make an O-Face after getting hit by a top rope stunner. That shit eclipses me. See what I did there?
What is it? Fine. What does Ember Moon say when she gets her hair cut? She clips it. She clips it. Fuck me. Anyway,
what do you get when you cross Drake Maverick and Ricochet?
We're not having this conversation right now. Athena
Drake Maverick.
Athena wins this contract, right?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
Boo Baron Corbin every chance you get.
Anyway,
You call Randy Orton when he washes dishes.
the wiper. I know.
The wiper.
I know. Athena wins this gauntlet, right? And she has a contract. Yes. She has a contract that she can cash in anytime over the next year. So, I mean, 3 stars.
She is the forever champion. She is still the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion.
Which is crazy.
I believe she has been the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion ever since she got released from WWE, showed up in AEW, and then quickly went to Ring of Honor. I think she's been the champion for at least 3 years.
That's crazy, dude.
And you know what? I don't want her to drop that fucking title. I think it's fucking awesome.
She should just retire with that title. Like, if she wins the AEW World title, she should just pull an Asuka, vacate the ROH World title.
And you know what? I don't think there's a lot of people out here that think this way, but if you don't like Athena being the forever champion, I banish you to 2 more years as Athena as world champion.
You're just like really into banishing people tonight, aren't you?
Yeah. I sentence you to 3 more years as Roman Reigns as champion.
I sentence you to 6 more months of John Cena as champion until he retires.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
I banish you to 1 more year as Dirty Dom as Intercontinental champion.
I banish you to 3 more years with Becky Lynch holding the Intercontinental Championship. How about that?
Yeah. None of these. No, the worst sentence. I sentence you to 4 more tag team title reigns from the Judgment Day.
I sentence you to 4.
No, that's a punishment.
I sentence you to 4 more years of the Hurt Syndicate holding the AEW World Tag Team titles, which at this rate, especially with this next match, feels like where we're going with this.
Oh, boy. A 3-way match for the AEW Tag Team titles. The Hurt Syndicate,
they hurt
Shelton
people.
Benjamin and Bobby Lashley defending the tag team titles, which, and I'm sure you really liked that Smoke DZA and West Side Gun, who perform the Hurt Syndicate's theme song,
damn right,
performed them to the ring.
And MVP,
I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
MVP rapped his verse too, which was awesome to hear him say. Yeah. To hear him say, "You'd be better off trying to read Japanese in Braille." And I'm like, "Fuck yes, that is his."
I didn't know MVP spit bars.
his verse did not need to go that hard, but goddamn,
it didn't. But the Hurt Syndicate, like I said, being performed to the ring by Smoke DZA and West Side Gun, they're defending their tag team titles against JetSpeed, which is Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and a last-minute addition of Christian Cage and Nick Wayne of the Patriarchy.
Hey, Tomas.
I'm going to say this right now. You know what I was doing during this match?
You were napping. Yeah, but I'll tell you this much: you didn't really miss a lot of in-ring action. I mean, it's your typical.
This match was fucking 19 minutes.
It's stupid. It's a triple threat match, and these idiots are tagging in and out, and there's no disqualifications. But I will also tell you that Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight is a random tag team. I said it. They're a random tag team. Why?
Well, when you sign 2 people to the roster,
they have nothing else for these guys to do. There's nothing else for these guys to do. And okay, so they do have FTR on commentary, and they're trashing all 3 teams, of course, as you would expect. And again, it's not to say that the wrestling is bad, Bobby Lashley's really kind of taken a fall from grace over the last year or so. Not saying that the Hurt Syndicate is a bad iteration of what WWE put on. It's not as big as the Hurt Business was because they don't have Cedric Alexander right now.
Now I'm going to disagree to a certain extent. I think the Hurt Syndicate are in a very good spot right now. They are dominating the tag team scene, and they are very, very dominant, and they are very, very over. Tony Khan apparently is very aware that the tag team division definitely needs they need a facelift, because apparently during the presser he said he's going to make that one of his priorities to just redefine this tag team division Because I'm looking at this match and I'm going, sure, her Syndicate's awesome. I like them dominating the tag team scene, but you're throwing guys together. You have Christian Cage and Nick Wayne in this match. Like, where are the days of the Young Bucks and Private Party and the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express? And the tag team division in AEW used to be so rich.
It used to be
so much depth.
It used to be the place to be if you were a tag team. And nowadays it's looking like if you're in WWE, specifically on SmackDown as a tag team, you're in a really good spot. Because look at how in-depth that tag team division is. There's more depth on one brand in WWE than there is in the entirety of AEW right now. Think about that.
And AEW has good tag teams. We saw two of them on the pre-show. In FTR and the Outrunners. They still have Top Flight. They have Roppongi Vice farting around in Ring of Honor. Farting around with Big Boom AJ. They have the Best Friends. That was a really good tag team.
But Chucky T.
Tony Khan.
Chucky T doesn't wrestle anymore,
no,
so I don't know if that counts.
No, I'm talking about the old days of the TNA tag division.
Right.
Where it had so much depth. I lump in the Best Friends with the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express and Private Party and, hell, I'll even say fucking, like Ortiz and Santana back when they were a team.
LAX.
I love the AEW. The AEW tag team division used to be my favorite tag team division in all of pro wrestling. And now it just looks like they're not fucking trying anymore.
Yeah.
Like this match, it was there. It was there. And this went for 19 minutes. Like, if you're gonna have a triple threat tag match, that shit needs to go like 40 moves a minute. I think they could have cut this match in half, and it would have had just a big of an impact, if anything. A short match doesn't always mean bad.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather see a 10-minute sprint than just, again, I don't remember a lot of this match. I fucking went to sleep. I was tired. We were at 6-hour pay-per-view. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. But this one, Lashley ends up getting in Dax's face, shoves him to the floor after they talk some trash. Lashley ends up pinning Christian with a spear. 3 stars. I don't know. I mean, again, this is more so about the aftermath and the story that went on afterwards.
You know what? I was kind of hoping that JetSpeed would win, just so we can get some depth to the tag team division. And, the Hurt Syndicate is awesome, and I like watching them beat the shit out of people. But, maybe kind of get them away from that, and I don't know, get Bobby Lashley in the world title scene. That'd be nice.
You would think, because Bobby Lashley has time on the clock, and you don't have a lot of time to make him a world champion. So, you should.
So there's only one thing I want to say about this aftermath, and then I'm going to let you take the rest because you know how I feel about it. So FTR is getting in the face of the Patriarchy. It looks like they're going to back off. And then finally, after 17 goddamn years of this build, Nick Wayne turns on Christian Cage. And you know what I'm thinking about looking at this? Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Cage was an asshole. He was an abusive dickhead to him for over a year, talking about his dead dad and claiming himself to be his father. Good for Nick Wayne. Him and Kip Sabian and even Mother Wayne start beating the shit out of Christian Cage. And they're treating this like it's a fucking face turn for Christian. Like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Well,
why is Nick Wayne the heel in this?
Because
why
Christian
is Nick the heel?
Because Edge and Christian reunion. Remember, Edge and Christian have to be baby faces when they face FTR at All Out. Which brings me to the next point.
Because
Nick Wayne gives Christian the unprettier, and he sets Christian up for the concerto. And of course, you have Metalingus playing in the stadium, and out comes Adam Copeland. Now, think about this. So, imagine that my friend Tomas here is getting mugged, right? He's being beaten within an inch of his life. They are just pounding on this guy. Tomas is battered and beaten and bloodied, and it seems like it's very hard for him to survive. So, theoretically, if I see this, by this logic, I can go and help him, but I have to make sure that I get my entrance in first. I have to make sure that I hit one side of the arena. I have to make sure I hit the other side, and I have to make sure my pyro goes off behind me before I go beat down those fuckers and save you. Right?
But now I want you to imagine if I would have been a complete asshole, told you to go fuck yourself, tried to kill you. Would you want you don't have to rush to save me?
I mean, I would
Cope
because
did not have,
I'm a good person.
Cope had absolutely no he didn't had no obligation to rush and save Christian Cage. Just like, because a lot of you wrestling fans like to drink the milk of forgetful cows and act like this is the only time this has ever happened, when this has happened at least a dozen times. Penta had no reason to rush to save John Cena.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I mean, you can take Penta doing his walk down the ramp at Night of Champions like any day over Cope pulling his full-ass WrestleMania entrance to go and save Christian.
But go ahead, say what happens, because you know how I feel about this.
Yeah, sure enough, Cope helps Christian up to his feet, or Edge. I refuse to call him Cope. He pulls Christian up, and then no, it's Adam Copeland. They don't call him Cope anymore. He pulls Christian up, and he says, "Go find yourself."
I will say that kind of got a laugh out of me. That kind of got a laugh out of me.
Don't rush the reunion. Because it doesn't make it doesn't make a damn lick of sense for them to hug right now. No way.
The reason why this got like a little chuckle out of me, because I'm just sitting here thinking, hey kids, if you're mad at your friend, don't say go fuck yourself. Say go find yourself.
Yeah.
Which in a way is a very, very, very nice way to say go fuck yourself. Go find yourself.
That's right.
It just reminds me of the South Park movie when Mr. Mackey is telling all the kids.
Okay.
When he's telling all the kids, like, instead of ass, say poo, like, you're a poo hole, like, kiss my buns, or you're a buns hole. Instead of shit, say poo.
Yeah.
Like, bull poo. It just reminded me of that for some reason. You know how I feel about this whole angle? You know how I feel about all this?
You're indifferent. He's sleeping right now because it's he's indifferent about this. So I mean, you have a big show in Toronto coming up, and of course you got to have the reunion there, probably in the main event spot, because you got to draw. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. They build it slowly to get to All Out. You don't have to do it right away. That's why I'm glad that they did not hug. So, up next, you have Timeless Toni Storm defending the women's title against Mercedes Mone. My worst nightmare is about to come true. My worst nightmare is about to come true. Mercedes is about to collect her 7th belt after winning the Owen. I was begging Tony Khan to do the right thing and not put Mercedes over. And I know...
Let me tell you, I was 1,000% convinced. I would have bet my car on it. I was convinced that Mercedes Mone was going to win this match. There was no, to me, there was no other outcome. Like, this is what they've been building to. She has 6 fucking titles. She's still the TBS champion. They want Mercedes to rule the entire AEW kingdom. And to me, just the whole build to this just screamed, Mercedes Mone is going to win the title. So I sat back with my arms folded, and I just watched this match unfold.
And
First thing I will say is, it was a really good match.
It was an excellent match. I will go to bat for this thing. This was, admittedly, as much shit as I've had to talk about Mercedes over the past year or so, this is the biggest match that AEW could have done for the women's division. And it felt like that. It definitely felt like that. And there was a very early feeling out process in this thing. Toni Storm is playing some mind games, as only Timeless Toni Storm can. She does the CEO dance that Mercedes does. A lot better than Mercedes, I will tell you. I'm not just saying that as an unconscious bias. I think that it was a much better dance than Mercedes even does.
But I mean, what can you say? Timeless Toni Storm, she's the greatest actor in the world. You never know where she's going to show up. She could be over here pretending to be asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
She could.
Wait for the shoe. Wait for the shoe. These two are so evenly matched. Luther was at ringside, and he puts Toni Storm on his shoulders, and I guess she does like a clothesline while Luther is running towards the apron, and Mercedes is standing there.
Oh, no. Luther is running with Storm on his shoulders and helps assist Toni Storm in flinging Mercedes Mone off the apron, and Mone takes a flat back bump on the floor, and I'm like, you gotta love Luther. That man really does earn his paycheck.
Give me intergender tag titles with Toni Storm and Luther holding them forever.
Yes.
Those two are a fantastic pair. Mone hits at least 10 different Meteoras in 10 different styles. The only thing missing is Michael Cole's commentary for it. And there was some really good near falls here.
Mercedes Mone is a fucking asshole, and she knocks Luther down, which how fucking dare you? That man is doing his job.
Luther did nothing to you. Luther did absolutely nothing to you. Yeah, and you...
Luther is the Alfred to Toni Storm's Batman, and he needs to be protected at all costs.
Exactly. And there was some really good submission wrestling, ankle locks galore. Of course, since Mercedes' favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero, she does the Three Amigos and the Frog Splash for a near fall.
Let me guess, how dare she?
How dare she? Eddie Guerrero is like, how dare you not protect my finisher, Holmes? Or something, if he was watching. But I don't know.
Well, I got some bad news for you. There's a dozen wrestlers that use the frog splash, and no one's getting the win with that move.
No. She hits a moneymaker slam.
Let me tell you, if I was a dead wrestler, you know what would make me turn in my grave? If I was Scott Hall watching every motherfucker use the razor's edge and kick out of it.
Dude, this match, these two got 25 minutes. There were some really good submission wrestling. Toni had a crossface chicken wing at one point, a la Bob Backlund. Mercedes got her bank statement submission hold. Storm gets out of it and steals the same move. But there's actually this little detail.
It's the statement maker.
This detail pissed a lot of people off. But Toni Storm, throughout this match, hit 7 different variations of Storm Zero. And there was a section where she hit like 3 all in a row, and Mercedes still kicked out. And I'm thinking back on it in hindsight, and Toni Storm does win this match, but it took 7 to beat Mercedes. What belt was Mercedes going after? How many was she going for?
1.
No, but if she added the AEW Women's World Title to her repertoire, how many belts does that make for Mercedes?
7.
It's a cute little detail that they put in there. So it took 7 of Toni's finishers to do it. And Toni Storm, oh man, this character. So she has Mercedes on the top rope.
Also, I think we need to retire the name Finishing Move. But it's not a goddamn finisher.
It's not a goddamn finisher, but she has Mercedes on the top. She gives Mercedes a big old kiss on the lips, hits an avalanche Storm Zero, and I'm like, there's no fucking way Mercedes is kicking out of this. If she does, I give up on wrestling. And thank God Mercedes does not kick out and Toni Storm retains the title. It's the first time that Mercedes has been pinned since she was signed.
Man, oh man, if I was a betting man, I would be taking the bus to work every day because I was so shocked, pleasantly surprised, but I did not think Toni Storm was going to walk out with the AEW Women's World Championship. And you know what I say to that now? She is 100% dropping that title to Athena. I don't see any other outcome with that too. What else can I bet? My laptop. Damn, I'm going to be without a car and a laptop by the time this is all over.
Right, yeah. No.
I was so bad with predictions on this pay-per-view, by the way. That's how good I feel the booking was. There was a lot of unpredictability on this show.
I am going to give this match, believe it or not, I'm going 4.5. This match was outstanding. I really enjoyed it. It was one of the better women's matches AEW's ever done. I'm not going to sit here and say it was better than the Hollywood ending. I think it might be the best match Mercedes has put on since she's joined AEW. and she's put on a lot of really good ones.
I know there's a lot to say about Mercedes Mone, and I know I've been like the forefront of that, and I've agreed. But I will say her quality as a wrestler has gotten better and better with every match she wrestles in AEW. Because she did go from kind of a lot of style and no substance. I know Mercedes Mone can be a good wrestler, but I feel like she was just relying on her old WWE status to get by on the indies. But she has really proven that she is a very good wrestler. Now it's time for her to just start dropping some of these titles.
Yeah,
the TBS title, please, for the love of God.
Well, she's gotta break Jade Cargill's record first, so she could be wiped from the history books. So that's not happening anytime soon. But this was an outstanding match. It definitely lived up to the hype. What's next for Toni Storm? Don't know. It could be in the series with Mercedes, with God forbid Mercedes winning the title. But
Athena has the title shot, so I think the idea
that's true.
of Athena holding the AEW Women's Championship and the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, that's a cooler image in my mind than seeing Mercedes Mone with 8 titles.
Yeah. She does not need to be female Thanos carrying around all the Infinity Stones. Like, no. We don't need to do that.
And you know what? The thing with Mercedes Mone is I would like to see this like character development with her, that she would gladly trade all 6 of those titles for that one Women's World Championship. And what did Toni Storm say on Dynamite leading into this? You're going to go down as being the one that can't get it done when it matters most. Like, damn.
That's
Toni
right.
Storm she knows how to verbally bear you. I still remember Toni Storm telling Mariah May, you don't deserve the dignity of death. I sentence you to a lifetime of mediocrity. Like, god damn, if someone told me that, I would start digging my own grave. You cannot fucking recover from that.
Well, you do have a photographic memory, so you probably would be able to, be sentenced to a lifetime of mediocrity, right?
I remember the day I stepped into Toni Storm's office. It was very comfortable.
Step into my office.
Oh, could you imagine meeting her as Timeless?
Oh my God. I
would have to go in. I would go in like I was at Disneyland, and I would have a whole shtick prepared for her.
Oh God. Oh God. Is this your office? Is this your office?
Oh, it's quite an elegant office. Can you tell me where Luther is? I am hankering for a snack right now, Miss Storm. I would have a whole fucking shtick prepared for her.
Bro, you better hope she's not watching this and getting the surprise spoiled.
I would be very surprised if she was watching this.
Anyway.
Wait, what are you talking about? All the wrestlers watch our podcast.
Well, you want to talk about too many fucking belts. AEW is finally dwindling down some of them. What do we got next?
Tony Khan has been wanting this match for years and years and years and years, and he finally got it. And you know what? Us as fans, we've been wanting to see this match again for quite some time. It is a unification match of the Continental and International titles. AEW now has a unified title with Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada.
You might as well call this the AEW Intercontinental Championship, but they can't do that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds a lot cooler than AEW Unified Championship. No shit, it's unified. Give me something cooler.
This match really speaks for itself. This match didn't need any build. It's Kazuchika Okada. It's Kenny Omega. They have had absolute wars in Japan. And it's finally happening under an AEW umbrella. Both wrestlers are signed to the company. This is what they've been building for 6 months? Ever since Kenny Omega returned and Kazuchika Okada won the Continental Championship.
Which he's held on to for over a year. He's held on to it for over a year.
Yeah. And also, just to point out, to talk about the 2 titles for a second, I remember when the Mid-Atlantic title was announced, and I was like, man, another title, this is a load of bullshit. It evolved into the International Championship, and it became one of the best championships in AEW because of Orange Cassidy. That man elevated the title to heights that I did not think it was going to reach. And that became the premier title on AEW. The Continental title, however, never really needed to exist. It was birthed because of the Continental Classic. okay. The Continental Classic, the prize needs to be a trophy. It needs to be one of those ordeals, because creating a whole ass new championship just for that match concept, it really showed that the only champions were Eddie Kingston and Okada. It really showed that AEW had the title. So I'm glad they came to their senses and decided to unify the two. And I hope this unified championship just stays on the level of the international championship, because we never could have predicted how fucking good that title was going to be.
And both guys, they've really helped elevate the prestige of the title, and the lineage of the titles are just, it's... I'm going to miss that international championship, man. I can't believe I'm saying it, but...
all those title matches that Orange Cassidy had. Orange Cassidy just showing he was, ironically, the workhorse of AEW. I love me a good workhorse title.
Yeah.
It's what makes the titles fun to watch.
Yes. Now, give this title a better name, and I will get more excited for it. But
don't copy WWE and just call it the Intercontinental Championship.
You should, though, because that's what
There's
makes
one
the most
Intercontinental
sense.
Champion for the men, and his name is Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
I mean, I'm not going to go hold for hold on this thing. Like, what else do you expect? It's Okada and Omega. Of course this match is going to be fantastic, but I will say this is probably their weakest match they've done, but even still, it's a fucking terrific wrestling match. Like, these guys know each other inside and out. The moves that they were hitting are just, it's seamless, smooth transitions. Like, nothing else quite like it. It's really, really great. There was a ref bump in this match, because of course there was. So what happened is Kenny Omega is getting, he's hitting his V trigger. He's teasing the one-winged angel. Okada's slipping out of it, hitting a tombstone. Okada does a flip bump on a Rainmaker for a near fall, which, again, Rainmaker is not a finishing maneuver because it doesn't finish the match right away.
Two nitpicks with this match, and they're near the end of it.
Yeah, so Omega hits a one-winged angel, and then fucking Don Callis pulls the referee out of the ring when Kenny is about to win the belt.
Callis, what a bastard. What a fucking bastard.
Yes. So, again, the counters, out of each other's finishing maneuvers were fantastic out of the Rainmaker and the one-winged angel, respectively. Fantastic. Okada with another Rainmaker for a near fall. And these two, they get to fighting again, but it takes one more Rainmaker. That's the third one of the match, and Okada unifies the titles, and Okada defeats Omega. This was a phenomenal wrestling match. Again, I'm probably going to go 4.5 stars. Not at the level of their other matches, which broke Dave Meltzer's scale in New Japan. But it's still...
they still went 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When you have Okada, who's getting up there in age, and Kenny Omega, which, in case you didn't know, just defeated a bout with diverticulitis.
Yeah.
They love telling you that on commentary.
And he was...
For
and Omega,
them to go 30 minutes...
Dude, they made that a part of the match, too. Kenny Omega was selling the diverticulitis, and Okada kept going for it. Which Brock Lesnar did that a lot. After Brock Lesnar beat diverticulitis, there was a point where Finn Balor, I think, was working him in a match. He pushed Brock into the announce table, and Brock, all he could do was sell the diverticulitis for the rest of the match. And I'm like, that shit's no joke. That shit is no joke.
My two issues with the match are, number one, the Rainmaker. It took 3 Rainmakers to beat Kenny Omega.
That's right.
The Rainmaker used to be the move. The move that was just no. Nobody gets out of that shit. And Omega's kicking out of 2 of them?
That's right.
Again, the finishing move, and both companies are guilty, okay? Don't think I'm just picking on AEW. Both companies are very fucking guilty of this. But there's got to be some moves that are protected. And I think the Rainmaker needs to be one of them. And the one-winged angel was very protected in this match. Omega didn't hit one.
No, he did. He did. And then...
he didn't. One wasn't kicked out of.
Yeah, because Don Callis interfered, and he pulled the referee out.
So, I've been thinking about this the past couple of days, watching these shows. And I know we haven't got to Evolution yet, but I think Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley is a great example. If you're gonna do near falls off of big high impact moves that aren't finishers. Sure, it makes it predictable in the sense of, well, of course they're gonna kick out of that move. That's not their finisher, but I would rather see so many different varieties of moves being kicked out of than the finisher being kicked out of 4 fucking times. It's just getting a little ridiculous among both companies. And my other issue with the match was I don't think it needed the overbooked finish. It's Omega. I almost combined both their names right there. It's Omega and Okada. It's Omega and Okada. They don't need an overbooked finish. If Okada's going to pin Omega, you don't need to protect Omega. Nah. He's a made fucking man. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Unless they have a rematch on the line down the line, which they very much could, because now these two are 2-2-1. Omega has 2 wins, Okada has 2 wins, and one of their matches went to a draw. If you want to have the big rubber match, then by all means. But you don't need an overbooked finish to get there.
But Okada raises the new AEW mid-card championship above his head, and yeah, I mean, even the AEW mid-card championship sounds better than the AEW unified championship, because again, no shit, this is a unified championship. It brings 2 belts together. Give me a cooler name, please. I will admit though, that belt is beautiful.
I'm gonna give you this one, Zach. I'm gonna give you this one because I hated, and I mean hated, the name the WWE Unified Tag Team Championships.
Oh, I hated that too.
Hated that name.
I hated that too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you this one. It doesn't bother me personally nowadays, but I can understand why you would hate that name.
Yeah, because again,
what does WWE have right now? The undisputed WWE Championship. But there's 2 world titles. There's nothing undisputed about that title.
Oh no, there's nothing undisputed about it because it was the undisputed WWE Universal Championship before. But
and you know what? Back when we actually had an undisputed championship, it was when there was only 1 world title in WWE. When they introduced Big Gold back into the company, the undisputed name went away, and it just became the WWE Championship.
That's right.
I don't get what's so difficult about this, guys. What is so difficult about this?
Anyway, yeah, so Okada's going to take this title, and he's probably going to hold it for like 3 years, and I'm going to sentence all of you to 3 years of an Okada reign. But this one...
And if you don't like that, I think Okada only has 1 word for you.
And he's just gonna, bitch. He's gonna throw up the middle. He's gonna throw up the middle finger. Yeah, do something like that. But we've made it, man. The main event of All In.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna give Omega Okada 4 1/4 because I really did enjoy the match. Just a couple of nitpicks. This is nothing like their New Japan bouts, but you know, even when it's not that great, it's still good. It's still very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are. This main event. This is what everything has been building up to. All of the bullshit, all of the disappointment, all of the rage from the AEW fans. Remember what I said? Remember what I said at Double or Nothing. If Hangman Page did not win this title, I am done with AEW.
And
this is their golden opportunity to right all the wrongs and make this worth a damn. This match right here. What do we got?
Very important that they got it right. Hangman Adam Page is challenging Jon Moxley, representing the goddamn motherfucking piece of shit Death Riders for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But this is a Texas death match. Because of course it is. You know, Jon Moxley and Hangman Page are both involved. And my big problem with this build is AEW is acting like these two have never had a pay-per-view match together. When we literally saw these two wrestle live in San Francisco in a Texas death match. Like, don't...
Holy shit, I forgot we were there for that.
We were there for that match, yeah, and it was a fucking sick match. This one, these two got to be sick fucks once again. Both of them get special...
I will give AEW this. I'll give AEW credit. They did correct themselves, because it was during the pre-show where they started acknowledging that... and I think even Moxley said it too during a promo. Like, we had a Texas death match before.
Yep.
Like, so you got the better of me that time, but you're facing an entirely different man this time.
This is a better stipulation than a last man standing match, by the way, because you can win by either knockout or submission. And it's very, very apparent. It's very to the point. You don't have to wait for the 10 count. You could make your opponent tap out if you want, which adds to the drama.
And I'm going to point out Zack's favorite part now, Hangman Page's entrance, which he had this girl whistling him to the ring, which was pretty cool. And Hangman Page has returned to his old bittersweet for me, not gonna lie, because his heel theme song slapped.
His heel theme song was fucking awesome, and I was just getting used to it. And I'm like, hey, if he's gonna come out to his old theme and be the original Hangman again, cool. But I fucking love Arthur Morgan, Hangman Adam Page. Like,
but let me guess, him going back to his old theme was awesome.
And Moxley does come out with his goons in a pickup truck. He goes through the crowd, and you can tell this is going to be a street fight from the start. Oh
boy, we're not even 5 minutes into the match, and Hangman Adam Page takes a fucking fork, and this is not fake, this is not gimmicked. He takes that fork and he repeatedly stabs Jon Moxley in the forehead with it, like butchers this man. Treats him like he's Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, he's treating him like a $2 steak that Jim Ross was talking about on commentary, which, by the way, good to see Jim Ross back after defeating and kicking Cantor's ass once again, and he is on commentary for this main event.
Yeah, he whipped Cantor like a government mule.
He sure did.
Which to this day, I don't know what a government mule is.
Well, I don't know what a $2 steak is, so there you go. Anyway, and then Moxley is bleeding profusely, and this has to be a new record for how quickly Moxley has bladed in a match. Moxley returns the favor by taking some barbed wire and gouging it across Hangman's face, and now both guys are bleeding. It should also be noted Marina Shafir was at ringside with the AEW World Championship briefcase, and Moxley instructs her to pull out a bucket from under the ring, which is filled with real glass. Go cry me a river. Right? It was real glass, right? It wasn't gimmicked. And CM Punk is
absolutely not. It was real glass.
And CM Punk is sitting there like, it's real glass. Like, this stuff is going to get in your eye. You know, you're going to have the rental car companies saying, don't rent cars to wrestlers anymore. I'm getting off track here. Moxley takes Hangman Page in a slingshot position.
Watching this match.
In a slingshot position, Moxley is pulling Hangman Page, raking him across the canvas, and the glass is digging into his back. And I'm like, this is disgusting. It's, you know, please never, like, I know the deathmatch stuff is not everybody's cup of tea, but when the stakes are this high, these guys will literally beat each other to a bloody pulp to get what they want. That holy grail that is inside the briefcase.
You say this match was disgusting, and I agree. But you know what? It still wasn't as brutal as any of the matches Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland had.
No. Hangman and Swerve's matches take the cake over this. There wasn't a staple gun. Nobody took a bump on a real cinder block. So, you know.
There was no chair shots to the head.
No. Moxley did take a power bomb on the edges of two chairs, which is a sick-ass bump. Never do that again. Though this match got the stipulation because Hangman Page is a smart babyface. And he's sitting there like, I know the Death Riders are getting involved, so why not make this just no disqualification? Let's just not act stupid here.
Wait, hold on. You have the valiant babyface with all of the odds against him going up against the heel champion with a faction that you know is going to interfere. Does this setup sound familiar to you?
It sounds like Bloodline Rules. That's for sure.
Yes. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not sitting here going, oh, AEW is just copying WWE. We were all anticipating this, and we were all hoping it was going to be AEW's version of WrestleMania 40. And I think they got the job done very well because this is when the interference started and we first got Wheeler Yuta. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is the Jimmy Uso. We're going to start getting the crazy cameos. We're going to get a lot of interference. And we did, and it was very much welcomed because Wheeler Yuta comes in, and then who was the first person to come out on Hangman's behalf? Was it Ospreay?
It was Ospreay, yeah.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta hits the ring, and then Claudio Castagnoli, Gabe Kidd, they hit the ring, and then that's when Will Ospreay comes to make the save. He disposes of Wheeler Yuta, but then Will Ospreay gets Pillmanized by the Death Riders. And it's like, God damn, they are picking off all of Hangman Page's allies. Like, this isn't looking good. Like, Hangman Page is still by himself, and there's 4 of the Death Riders and only 1 of him.
Yeah, but Hangman Page has more. He has more friends than Will Ospreay. And
it is very important to point out that during the build of this match, Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, they're still not friends. And Page did say, "I don't want you helping me."
But this whole Hangman Swerve relationship is so interesting.
Yeah.
And
I know where you're going with that, but don't worry, we're gonna get to that when it happens, because I'm actually really upset that I missed that segment on Collision, because apparently it was like the best segment in that show's history.
Or Swerve said, "You deserved it," and Hangman's like, "I know." It's
Who says pro wrestling doesn't have real life morals?
It's so interesting, man. It really is. Like,
we'll get there. We're getting there.
We will. And there's barbed wire tables that are introduced. Moxley does a big vertical suplex on Hangman off the apron through the tables. And both men get up before the 10 count. And these guys, I mean, they're scarred. They are so scarred, man. There's blood everywhere.
What does John Moxley pull out? A fucking bed of nails.
A bed of nails. But before that, hold up. Before we get to the bed of nails, we have Moxley getting overly frustrated with the fact that he can't keep Hangman down. So Claudio and Wheeler on the outside are instructed by Moxley to pull out a plastic bag, which is really what started this whole Death Riders killing everybody and suffocating people from the very beginning, from when they killed Bryan Danielson on live pay-per-view at All Out. And the fans were chanting, "This is murder." And then we get
the damnedest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Dude.
Cut to the Tron, and we see Darby Allin on the top of Mount Everest cutting a wrestling promo saying that I climbed Mount Everest, and John Moxley, I'm coming for you now.
And John Moxley
get Darby Allin just yet.
And now I'm climbing down to take everything from you. Which I thought, like, my only nitpick with this match, really, if I had to think of any, I would have swapped the order around a little bit, because it definitely felt awkward from the next thing that happened. There's a guy in the Blue Panther mask who slides into the ring and he starts doing yes. And
oh my god! It's Dominic Mysterio.
No, it's not. No, of course it's Bryan Danielson.
El Grande Americano. Yes, El Grande, gracias. El Grande Americano has come to save the day.
El Grande Americano is injured, buddy.
Biggest acquisition. El Grande Americano.
Could you imagine Bryan Danielson being under the El Grande Americano mask? I mean,
that's who it was the entire time.
I mean,
but in all seriousness,
hold on. Chad Gable is Bryan Danielson's son, though. Remember?
Yes.
I am your father.
Yes, it is Bryan Danielson, and this is the first time we've seen him since he lost the AEW World Championship at WrestleDream. And before anyone says anything, Bryan Danielson is retired from being a full-time wrestler. He still plans on wrestling here and there on special occasions, so this isn't one of those fake retirement things. But Danielson is back. He hits Wheeler Yuta with the Psycho knee. He starts taking out the Death Riders, and then, because of course he does, Darby Allin is lowered from the ceiling in a harness, and that's just the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm looking at this going, of course. And the way Darby Allin is being lowered, he's just like, He's just like limp, and he's just like, all right, I'm coming.
It reminds me. It
I'll be
reminds
there
me.
in a second.
It reminds me of that meme of SpongeBob in the magician's uniform
Yes!
being lowered down into the Krusty Krab. That's what it makes me think of.
Darby Allin, you're so fucking extra. You did not need to be lowered from the ceiling in a harness. But then again, that was probably a tribute to his father, Sting.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, he is Sting's adopted son, and Sting repelled from the rafters all the time.
Dude, what is pro wrestling? What is pro wrestling? You have a man, a goth man in face paint being lowered from the ceiling in a harness.
Yeah, this is
whoop some ass.
This is where the match gets really fun. Yeah, so the run-ins. Darby hits a coffin drop on all the Death Riders as him and Bryan are fighting all of them off. The only thing missing was Taz on commentary singing Final Countdown a la Anarchy in the Arena.
No, that would have been dumb.
That would have been funny as fuck, but in any case, the Death Riders are getting beaten off. Then the Bed of Nails is introduced, and Moxley, at this point, he's had enough. So he hits Dirty Deeds on Hangman on the Bed of Nails.
Paradigm shift.
Yeah, which, ow. And Hangman somehow gets up, and what happens next is Marina Shafir is instructed by Moxley to go grab the briefcase as a weapon or something, and it was such a smooth transition, too, because Marina is leaving the Timekeeper's area, but then you suddenly see she's handcuffed. And she looks and she's baffled. And there's Prince Nana waving with the key and he's doing his little dance.
That's sneaky Nana.
Yeah.
And then this is where everything comes into fruition. Because Hangman Page looks outside the ring.
Because the Bucks are out there.
Yeah, the Bucks are out there. And wait, is this before or after Hangman Page hits fucking Deadeye off the ring apron through a table to Moxley?
Yeah, and he also hit a Death Valley driver on Marina earlier in the match through a table, which, again, say what you want about Marina being a problem. Say what you want, hold on, say what you want about Marina Shafir being a problem. Say what you want about the Death Riders being so, dumb as an idea in execution. The one positive that I feel like I can take out of this Death Riders thing is how much it's elevated Marina Shafir. It did. Is a fucking killer, and we knew she was. We knew she was.
This woman has come a long way, and I mean a long way, from cutting promos on Dark saying, "You don't know me. You don't know me."
Yes.
Okay, never give this woman a microphone ever. Yeah, this has elevated her a lot. Once she has been taken out of the equation, Swerve Strickland shows up and he nails the Bucks with the chain. And now, before we go forward, it's very important to bring this up. On Collision, Swerve Strickland sat down with Hangman Adam Page and they just started talking about all their problems. And Swerve Strickland told Hangman Adam Page, "My son still has nightmares from the night you broke into our house and were peering over his crib." And Hangman Page says, "You burned down my house. I was going to raise my family there." Oh, no, Swerve Strickland's house was, Swerve, yeah. So, I'm getting this I got the whole thing mixed up.
Flip it around.
Says, "My son still has nightmares from when you broke into our house." And Swerve Strickland says, "You burned down my house, man. I was going to raise my family there." And Swerve Strickland gives Hangman Page the chain. And just that whole moment there was like, wow.
And Swerve standing there with his arms crossed with that whole Roman Reigns aura that I was telling you he had from the very beginning. Hangman Page hits Mox with a buckshot lariat. Mox takes a flat back bump on the Bed of Nails. He takes the chain, wraps it around Mox's neck, throws Mox over the top rope. It's not a Royal Rumble, so Mox's feet don't have to hit the floor for him to lose. But it's probably for the better in a Texas death match that his feet don't hit the floor. Hangman has the chain over the top rope, and Moxley, you can just tell. And Moxley is fantastic as a worker, and he's a fantastic storyteller. The sell was key here. because he is over the top rope and it's so overly animated, like he knows he's done, and he is just
Yeah.
hanging there, and the Hangman is pulling as much as he can, as tight as he can. Moxley taps out and he crumbles to the floor, and that's when the emotion and the cheers and the elation starts to set in. Hangman Adam Page
And I
has once
popped
again
so hard for this.
climbed to the top of the mountain. Tony Khan has made the correct decision here, and Hangman gets the key to open up the briefcase, and it seems like that he's like, he's having trouble with it, but then the emotion starts overcoming him. He opens it, and sure enough, true to Moxley's word in the promos, Moxley will tell you the truth in these promos. The belt was in there the whole time. And Hangman Page holds it up over his head, still has the Bryan Danielson side plates on them, which is a great attention to detail. As much as I fucking hate the Death Riders as a storyline, I'll give them credit, man. I will give them credit for this payoff here and how much attention to detail was thrown into it. That I don't want to say it was worth the wait. I don't want to say sitting through Swerve losing a dynasty was worth this. I don't want to say Christian Cage losing his cash-in was worth this. Was worth all the bullshit. But, man, just that moment of seeing Hangman Page climb the top of the mountain, that was awesome. That was so awesome.
So, here are my thoughts going out of this match. Number one, it's ironic that CM Punk sat there and, Hangman Page is an empty-headed dumb fuck. He refuses to take it. He doesn't ask for advice from the legends. He thinks he has it all figured out. He's not utilizing his tools to his advantage. But I'm going to sit here and say Hangman Adam Page is the most complete character in AEW.
He sure is.
He has had the most depth. He has had the most character development. And he is just overall the best character in AEW history. And that's a lot. I'm not saying CM Punk is right or wrong, but the fact that Hangman Adam Page has that about him, that's a lot from a wrestler that doesn't ask advice from the legends. And I'm not taking a side here. I'm not saying CM Punk is an asshole for saying that and Hangman Page doesn't need advice. I'm not saying, wow, Hangman Page could improve a lot more if he took advice from the legends. I'm just saying it's very ironic that CM Punk has that knowledge about Hangman Adam Page, but here we are with probably the most in-depth, the most complete character that AEW has.
And the most interesting character.
And that whole storyline with him and Swerve Strickland is probably the greatest storyline in AEW history, next to Toni Storm and Mariah May. Yeah. And you answered the question I was going to ask, and that was, despite all the bullshit, was this worth the wait?
No.
Was this worth the blow-off?
No.
The blow-off was very satisfying, and I'm happy we got this blow-off. But I think there's a difference, because I feel like a lot of fans would probably jump in and say, oh, well, isn't it hypocritical? You hate the Death Riders, but you love the Bloodline. The Bloodline was starting to get to that point of, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Every single one of Roman Reigns' title defenses is just one of the Usos interferes or Solo Sikoa interferes and he helps him retain the title. I think the difference is just execution. Because you look at everything that the Bloodline supplied, the Sami Zayn stuff, the Jey Uso stuff, and the clear story that was Cody Rhodes was always going to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I think just AEW didn't really have an end game with the Death Riders. They didn't have long-term plans for the Death Riders. It was just, here are the Death Riders. They want to destroy AEW, but you needed that hero at the end of the tunnel. WWE had that with Cody Rhodes. And again, I know it's very annoying for me to just compare them to WWE all the time, but when it comes to similar storylines, it's the only thing I can go based off of. And I just feel like that's where the Death Riders suffered. They had a really cool concept. A group of rebels that wanted to destroy AEW, but it's just like those old-time superhero shows. Oh, look at the bad guys. They want to take over the world. Who will stop them? You have the hero that's going to stop them. I don't think AEW ever had that hero that was going to stop them. It fell into their laps. I think the plan was always going to be Darby Allin was going to be that hero. Darby Allin wanted to go climb Mount Everest. I don't think they had a long-term plan for this storyline, and the execution was just fucking terrible. I'm glad it ended up this way. I'm glad we ended up with Hangman Page finishing his story and winning back the AEW World Championship. But I just, the ride to get there wasn't a fun ride.
It
wasn't
bumpy.
a fun ride until the end. It's like, imagine watching a horrible movie and then it started getting good like the last 30 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and I can think of a few movies like that I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
And not any that I'm going to name off the top of my head right now.
There are some people that say that's the case with Endgame. I'm not saying I'm one of those people, but there are a lot of people that said, "Man,
there's actually people that think that."
Up. Yeah, there are people that think that the movie did not pick up until the Avengers started fighting Thanos.
Holy bullshit, Batman! That is just no. That's just, you can have an opinion, but that is just wrong. That is just wrong in my book. But
so, my concluding thoughts about the match. I'm going to give this match 4 3/4 stars. Now you're probably wondering, what is the difference between this match getting 4 3/4 and the Bloodline Rules match getting the full, complete, perfect 5 stars? And I really think it's because the deathmatch concept isn't for everybody.
right.
I enjoyed it.
Well,
I thought it was great. When you compare the two stories, Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, I think it all boils down to, number one, what I just said before in the execution, getting to this point. And I think the second thing is the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match. You can show that to anybody, and they will probably appreciate the story that was told, the simple story that was told through professional wrestling. I don't think everybody is going to enjoy a man getting stabbed in the head with a fork.
no.
I don't think everyone's going to enjoy a bed of nails and barbed wire and broken glass. It might be a bit too much. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you if you don't like that. It's just not for everybody. You can show somebody a horror movie like Halloween.
Mhm.
It's about a guy, it's about Michael Myers murdering people and they're trying to stop him. You can show them that, but then, someone might like that horror movie, but then if you show them something like Saw, it could turn them off because there's too much gore. Like, it's just about preferences. And I'm not saying I don't like that preference. I'm just saying when you look at the complete stories, I think Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is a story everybody can enjoy, but the death match concept, not everybody's going to enjoy. And I think that's just what doesn't make it a perfect story for me.
And the Bloodline Rules match, by comparison, felt more like a celebration of wrestling and wrestling history in the history of WWE. This one felt, by comparison, this is the end of this Death Riders story arc with them holding the AEW World Championship hostage. And this is the guy who's going to come in and be the hero. And again, worth it. The payoff was great. Absolutely. Should they have hid away the World Championship belt? Absolutely not. Because it basically negated any interest I had in the match. And I didn't feel inspired watching any of the world title matches up to this point. Because you need that visual. You need to see the prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stupid. But
now,
anyway.
am I gonna sit here and say AEW is back, baby? That just fixed all the problems they have? No. But what I will say is my faith is restored and they are heading in the right direction. They just have to keep this momentum up. There's still a lot of problems in the company. There are a lackluster tag division, these ridiculously long pay-per-views, and some storylines still aren't hitting with me. I could say the same thing about WWE right now. Don't get me fucking wrong. Don't think I'm being tribalistic. There's a lot going on in WWE right now that's got me moaning and groaning and rolling my fucking eyes.
Yeah.
But if I'm focusing on AEW right now, they are headed in the right direction, and they just need to keep going in this direction.
That's right, yeah. But I'm going to give this Texas Deathmatch 4 3/4 stars as well. Again, I feel like it's going to depend on what type of match you want out of a big endgame style match. But Yeah, I thought it was a really, really solid way to cap off a show that, albeit very, very long, I do think it did surpass WrestleMania this year. I am fully in that camp. I'm going to give this show 8.75 out of 10. I thought it was a great show from top to bottom, just way too damn long. That's my biggest note.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. There was a lot of good in this show, but still, I think the issue with it being long was there was a lot of matches on this card that didn't need to be as long as they were. That three-way tag did not need to go 19 minutes.
Oh, yes, it
Those
did.
gauntlet matches did not need to go like 30 minutes. Like there were 3 matches in a row that passed the 20-minute mark. And
Yes,
I
it did.
think AEW has an issue with having long matches just for the sake of having long matches. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. I used to think when I was a teenager that if a match surpassed the 20-minute mark, that automatically made it good. But then I watched MVP and Cody Rhodes have a match on NXT that went over 20 minutes. It was very boring. Long doesn't always mean good.
That's right. That's right. And that's a theme that we will get into. I'm sure there will be a few pay-per-views in the retro, especially, where long does not always mean good. And that's a recurring theme. But folks, thank you again so much for your continued support of the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Tap on that thumbs up if you've been with us, whether it was from episode 1, episode 100, or the upcoming episode 200 of the ZNT Wrestling Show. Thank you so much again for your continued support. We are always here talking wrestling. There will be a separate review for Evolution coming very soon. Yeah, you have any final parting words, Tomas? Any final thoughts?
Damn, that was a lot of wrestling. And
Yeah.
yeah, we are going to talk about more wrestling.
And we ain't done yet.
No, we ain't done yet. We have 2 more shows we need to get through. And thank God we have a 1 weekend break before we go into a 2-night SummerSlam. Yay!
I'm
Oh,
so
man.
excited.
You know
so
what?
excited.
I wish I had a time machine, and I wish I could go back to 14-year-old me, and I want to tell them, listen here, you shithead. First of all, you need to start focusing a little more. Like you're focusing on the wrong things. But second of all, I'm going to tell you something. In about 15 years, you're going to have all the pro wrestling you could ever watch. There's going to be pro wrestling on every single day of the week, and there's going to be multiple pay-per-views a weekend, and you're not going to have to pay $50 for all of them. And I'm going to get all excited. I'm like, no, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not a fucking good thing. I'm going to grab my fucking face and be like, it's not a good thing. I'm preparing for you this now. There's no way you can stop it. I'm just preparing you now. and then I've created a whole fucking time paradox, and then all of a sudden I'm an accountant living in New Jersey.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into all that and much, much more with you, my friends. Thank you all so much again for sticking with us through all this time. Commence that back talk. Talk to you guys soon.